Hello, this is Jerome Gratney, and I will guide you through this tutorial on creating an audio podcast with Audacity. Audacity is a multi-track, cross-platform audio editing software, meaning that it will work on Windows, Mac OS, or Linux operating systems. It is a powerful tool for editing audio that even rivals more professional editing software. And it's free. You can download Audacity from audacity.sourceforge.net. The Audacity interface allows for easy but powerful audio editing and recording. The basic tools in Audacity include the selection tool, the envelope tool, the draw tool, the zoom tool, the time shift tool, and the multi tool. We will cover these tools later in this tutorial. The control buttons allow you to record, playback, pause, stop, rewind, and fast forward through your audio. You can also monitor your recording and playback levels in the monitor. The timeline allows for multi-track editing with a graphic user interface. Now let's take a look at how to make a recording using Audacity. First, make sure you're using a quality microphone. Also, make sure that the mic is set up for your computer using the control panel settings. Click on the record button and begin speaking. Podcasting is a great way to communicate with students. It is especially good for online or hybrid classes. Your voice adds the human element as well as another way to provide content for your students. When you're finished, click on the stop button. Now we're going to go back and we're going to edit this audio using the selection tool and cutting some of the audio out that we don't need. Also, if you noticed, I made a mistake, and we're going to go back and correct that. So we're going to use the selection tool at the beginning here, selecting the blank area. We're going to go under the edit drop-down menu and hit cut. Okay, now let's go ahead at the ending. We're going to also cut out our ending right here. We're going to hit the drop down menu and cut. Now let's go back where I made the mistake. I'm going to listen in. We're going to select right here and we're going to begin playing. Your voice adds the human element as well as another way. Okay, well let's go back here and select out this section. And we're going to hit cut. Let's go back here and listen to that. Classes. Your voice adds the human element as well as another way to provide content for your students. Okay, now let's go and add some music to this. So we're going to give a little bit of a music intro. We're going to go up here to Project, Import Audio. Okay, we're going to go to the desktop where I have a selection. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and select this. This is a WAV file. We notice that it's a lot bigger than our actual audio introduction, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the music from about here on. Go ahead and use the selection tool and then cut. And so now I've got approximately the same amount of music as I do my initial narration. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the magnification tool and just magnify that out so I can see it a little bit better. And now what I'm going to do is go back to my selection tool and cut out some of the beginning of this right here and cut. And now what I can do is use the move tool to move this down a little bit so that my music's playing a little bit before I begin to speak. And we notice now we have a little bit left over at the end. Okay, let's go ahead and try this out. Podcasting is a great way to communicate with students. It is especially good. Now I do notice that my voice is being overridden by the music level, so I'm going to go ahead and select the envelope tool, and I'm going to use the envelope tool to bring the music down. So I'm starting the music up, and I'll bring it down, putting these little keyframes in here, so it's just a little background noise. Okay, and I'll go ahead at the end, and I'll actually raise it back up, and then even bring it back down to 0. Okay, so that's where you would use the envelope tool to increase or decrease the volume. The multi-track as well as the envelope tool make this type of editing very powerful. Let's go back and listen to this one more time. Podcasting is a great way to communicate with students. It is especially good for online or hybrid classes. Your voice adds the human element as well as another way to provide content for your students. Okay, so now we've used the selection tool, the envelope tool, the magnification tool, and the time shift tool. We also have the draw tool, but we use that in more advanced features. Also, we have the multimodal tool. When we hit the multi-tool, we then can hover over anything that we have used so far as our tools, and we can use that, such as the selection tool or our envelope tool. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is to output your file. So go under File, Export as Wave, and then what we'll look at is how to use iTunes to optimize or compress our file. Now that we've converted our file into a WAV file, we want to reduce that into a manageable file. This 20-second clip is 1.68 megabytes. If we were to have a 15 or 20-minute lecture, you would see that the file size would increase dramatically. So we're going to use iTunes to optimize our file. Under the Edit drop-down menu, you will see Preferences. If you're using a Mac, you would use the File drop-down menu for Preferences. We're going to go ahead and click on Preferences, and we're going to go to the Advanced tab, and we're going to select under Importing. We're going to change this from AAC encoder to MP3 encoder. We're going to now select our custom. We're going to give this a custom selection, and we're going to select this to be 96 kilobytes. Our sample rate, we're going to put that at about 22, and we want mono. If we have this in a stereo, it's going to multiply that in our file size by 2. So we're going to keep this in mono, and we're going to go ahead and click OK and OK. Now let's go ahead and convert our song. We're going to go under Advanced. We're going to go ahead and make our selection and then click Advanced. Convert selection to MP3. If we had not changed this, it would have said convert selection to AAC. So we're going to go ahead and convert the selection. Podcasting is a great way to communicate with students. It is especially good for online or hybrid classes. Your voice adds the human element as well as another way to provide content for your students. So we see that we have reduced the file size down quite a bit, but we still are able to maintain our audio quality. We're going to go ahead here and we're going to put our converted song into our playlist, and now we're going to check the info on that. We're going to get our info, and we see here that our file size is now 119.8 kilobytes, and that's a pretty dramatic reduction from 1.68 megabytes. Okay, now you'll be able to put that file onto Blackboard or email it or what have you. This This has been Jerome Gratney in this tutorial on how to use Audacity to create podcasts. Good luck on your next podcast, and for more information, please contact me in the Learning Technology Center at Mercer University.